Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for your greatest support. I have to appreciate you for what you're doing because it's very much fantastic, and it needs an accolade of what you're doing. Your support, your subscription, you are liking the video. You know, you watching the video, it's very much amazing, and I have to appreciate you for that, guys. Thank you guys. May God bless you. Asanteni sana. Now, in this video, there is something that I want to talk about the security of our country, and I want to measure into what is happening in our borders. Remember, our president, that is William Samoei Ruto, back then, he ordered that there will be no vetting across the border. So it means that if you want to come from Somalia, you want to get into the country, nobody will question you. You just come, you do your things, you know, freely, with a lot of freedom. In short, he said that there will be freedom for those who want to come to Kenya, because he assumed that those who are coming to Kenya are Somalis, and the Somalis are supposed to be allowed to do their business, do everything they want in this country without being questioned.
Whereas the Ministry of Interior and National Administration has reviewed and piloted new guidelines for registration and issuance of identity cards in border communities. Reasons, therefore, I, William Samoei Ruto, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, having considered the said petitions in light of the Constitution of Kenya, our national values and principles of governance, by authority vested in me by the Constitution of Kenya, do hereby proclaim and order. Number one, that the extra requirements for vetting and ethnic profiling to which persons living within border counties are subjected to during registration and issuance of national identity documents shall be and is hereby discontinued. And number two, that persons, bodies, and authorities within the Republic of Kenya mandated to issue national identity documents shall continuously review their guidelines and processes to ensure equitable, fair, and transparent process in identification and registration of all persons. Dated the 5th February, the year of the Lord, 2025. Asanteni sana.
That is what I want to talk about. But now, I want to talk about it in different angle. Because as we speak right now, something is really happening in Mandera. What is happening in Mandera is that there are a lot of killings. People are running away from their own region, from their own places of stay. People are being killed, people are being shot dead. Why? Because of the war that is happening in Somalia. But then, what if I say that the Kenyan's next security crisis is not in Nairobi? Because, you know, majority of people normally believe that one of the most places that there's normally these security issues, crisis, is normally Nairobi, because Nairobi is a center where a lot of people stay. But what if I say that it is not Nairobi, it is the other place? So in this video, that is what I want to talk about. I want us to know, I want to bring it to your attention that what we believe, or what we were made to believe, that Nairobi is the place where war is, itatoka kwa akili yetu. That is why I'm requesting you to watch this video up to the end. We start this way. For weeks, it is, I think it's now something like 1 or 2 weeks right now. For weeks now, the people of Mandera, Mandera is a border, is in border between Kenya and Somalia. has been hearing the war, like the gunshot that is in Somalia. So you know, when you are somewhere, like let's say for instance, you are in how do I put it? I'm trying to look at a way of putting it. Let's say for instance, uko hapa katikati, wewe uko hapa. So wherever you are here, if something is happening in this side, automatically you will hear this side. So if there is gunshot this side, automatically utaisikia. So that is what is happening. Let's assume that Mandera is this side, and then this is Somalia. So if the Somali people are fighting, it is very easy for the Mandera people to hear. If there is gunshot this side, it is very easy for these people of Mandera to fear. Why? Because automatically they know that they will be the next victims. So that is what is happening in Mandera, and a lot of people are running away from Mandera. A lot of people are running away from the border, giving these people room to get into the country. Because as these people are fighting, remember that those who are living in Somalia who are running away for their lives. So whenever they are running away for their life, they are also coming into the country. And when they come to the country, wale watu ambao wanapigana nao are following them. And that is where now the problem is coming from. And I want us to understand, for you to understand what I'm talking about, I want to show you something here. This is why these people that are in Somalia are running. One side of this group are Somalia National Army. And now this Somalia National Army, they are loyal to Mogadishu's federal government. And on the other side, we also have another group called the Jubaland Region Forces, which is loyal to Ahmed Madobe's administration, that is in Kismayu. Up to there, we understand each other. Now, the town of Juba is right at the center of this. So where this war is the town of Juba. That is Juba Hawa. It's called the Juba Hawa. So hapa kwa Juba Hawa is where all these things are happening. But now, however, we have the Bulahawa. Now the Bulahawa controls the trade routes. This Bulahawa, which is at the center, is what controls the trade routes. Those who are coming to the borders to take things, those who are going back, you know, and it influences a lot of people over the Mandera corridors, because lazima wafanye biashara hata Mandera. They come, they do their businesses, they go back, and that is how these things is affecting the people of Mandera. Now, Mogadishu has often accused Jubaland of being too close to Kenya, and then Nairobi has historically seen Jubaland as a buffer state against AL-SHAABAB. This mistrust has been brewing years. So the mistrust between Mogadishu and Jubaland is because they feel like one party iko karibu na Nairobi sana, so they can do their businesses. Are you seeing? So kuna moja inaisia kwamba sisi tuko Somalia tuko mbali, au wenye wako hapa karibu, they can do their businesses in Nairobi. So hiyo conflict, hiyo rango, hiyo vita has been there for a very long time. So that is what is happening, that hii vita inaenda kuenea. So wakati ambapo hii vita inaenea, it has been there. So when the war breaks, when the war broke in the morning, this is what happened. Now when the war broke, these people started fighting. Sisi tuko Nairobi, karibu Nairobi, sisi tuko karibu na, so we have to find a way of doing all these things. And one of the main things that is really going to cause these things is this. Jubaland is normally against the Al-Shabaab. So if you want people who can fight against Al-Shabaab, look for the Juba people. Jubaland is a state which is normally against Al-Shabaab, because Al-Shabaab are known for attacks. They normally attack, you know, the war and all that. So what really triggered? I was trying to look at this thing when I was reading this thing. I was trying to look at what really triggered this war. Now this war was triggered because recently a major gun battle erupted in Bulahawa, and I've told you that Bulahawa is a center which controls the trade route. like it gives direction. Ukitaka kwenda kufanya biashara mali fulani wewe mwende, ukitaka kwenda huku nyinyi mwende. So that is what is happening. So when I was reading this thing, this is what I found, that heavy machine guns, rockets, propel grenades. Now the fighting was so close to the Kenyan side that some of the bullets and explosive crossed into Mandera. Kenyan civilians were injured, property was damaged. The interesting part of this is, for the people of Mandera, this was not something you could just ignore. Because remember, hii kitu imefanyika sasa inakuja kufanyika Kenya. It is forcing now families to pack what is theirs and run away. It is forcing now the border people to lack security. There is no safety at the border. And that's where now the humanitarian situation begins. Now, what is this thing known as the humanitarian fallout? In just days, Mandera found itself hosting hundreds of displaced Somali families, whereby schools, mosques, and communities halls were turned into makeshift shelters. The Kenya Red Cross stepped in with food, water, and medical supplies. Aid agencies started coordinating emergency response, but there is a strain. Mandera is already a region with scarce resources. Now water is hard to get, food prices are climbing, and public services are overstretched. Local traders report that businesses is dropping because people fear being near the border. Is it just, now the question is this just a refugee crisis, or is a local economic and social pressure cooker? You know, this thing is bringing pressure both locally and socially. How is it bringing this pressure? Because the people that are living in Mandera, they want to do businesses. But how are you going to do business yet there is war? Now the people are fighting. Where people are fighting, they are fighting and they are coming into the country. When they come to the country, wanafuata wale wenye wamekimbia. So wakati ambapo wanafuata wale wenye wamekimbia, nyinyi pia inabidi mjifiche. So that is what is happening. Another issue that is causing all these things is about political and security tension. As this issue grows, local leaders claimed Jubaland troops had crossed into Kenya territory. Now, the Jubaland vice president denied it, saying all their forces are still on Somali soil. And then Senator Ali Roba publicly warned that Mandera was being left vulnerable and urged the national government to act. You know, for Kenyan security chiefs, it's going to be a tightrope. Why? Because if they decide to send more troops to defend the border aggressively, it risks diplomatic fallout with Somalia. Number two, if they hold back, Mandera might suffer more attacks and infiltration. So they are at crossroads. They don't know whether to send the troops or they don't know whether to hold back. If they send troops, it is going to be a risk of diplomatic fallout with the Somalians. If they don't, then Mandera is going to suffer more attacks than it's suffering right now. But then I remember up there when I started, I mentioned something to do with AL-SHAABAB, which is going to be the main factor here. Now, how is AL-SHAABAB going to be the main factor here? Whenever chaos break out in Somalia, Al-Shabaab militants look for openings. Now, when this conflict could be a perfect distraction, allowing them to smuggle weapons, recruit fighters, or even stage cross borders attack. How are they going to do this? With Al-Shabaab ni wale watu ambao they like taking advantage. Remember now, this war is at the border. Now, while this war is at the border, The Al-Shabaab are in Somalia. So remember, the people of Mandera are running away. They are leaving border open. Of course, the Bulahawa is open. Those routes are open. Hakuna security imewekwa. So it is very easy for the Al-Shabaab to come into the country. When they come to the country, we don't right now. Right now we don't know how many of these people are in the country. We don't know how many of them are in the country. We don't know which part of the country they are in, because as far as I'm concerned, or from the look of things, watu ni wengi sana in Kenya. Wako wengi sana. Because there is no vetting that was done, or there is no vetting that is being done to them. They're just getting into the country. And with the African Union's armed forces withdrawing from Somalia, security gaps are widening. And this thing is going to affect these gaps. Like, why are these gaps being opened? Yet we know very well that this team is a very dangerous team. Got two disputes at the border: the maritime border dispute, and then now we have got this one. And then now Jubaland has long been seen as friendly to Kenya, while Mogadishu often views that relationship with suspicion. Remember, the Mogadishu are seeing Jubaland as a border which is that much close to Nairobi, so they can do their business the way they want. So that conflict. In other words, if Kenya is seen to openly back Jubaland, it could escalate into a proxy confrontation, harming trade, diplomacy, and security cooperation that is in the country. But then, if you try to, I was trying to ask myself that what needs to be done? What is it that is supposed to be done? Like, for all these things to end, there must be something that needs to be done. Number one thing that needs to be done is this. There is a need to strengthen border security without shutting down vital cross-border trade. Because remember, if you shut the border trade, there will be that suspicion. Kutakuwa na ile suspicion that why are they doing this? Number two, then there's need to push for urgent diplomatic talks between Nairobi, Mogadishu, and Kismayo. If they don't do that, there will be repercussions. Number three, there is need for scale up humanitarian aid to prevent resources-based tensions between local and refugees. How is this thing going to happen? On a serious note, how is this thing going to happen? Because what's happening in Mandera is a warning. And remember, our borders are not just lines on a map. They are living, breathing communities whose safety depends on both security and diplomacy. And then, if Kenya doesn't handle these crises carefully, it could find itself drawn deeper into Somalia's internal conflict, with the consequences that go far beyond Mandera. So, my question is this. Should Kenya step in military to secure the border, or stay out of Somalia's political entry? I repeat the question. Based on what is happening right now at the border, should Kenyans step in militarily to secure the border, or stay out of Somalia's politics and entry? Because remember, if they stay away, the people that are suffering are Kenyans that are living at the border. If they engage themselves, again the people that will suffer are Kenyans that are living at the border. Because the Somalis will feel like Kenyans want to interfere with their businesses. If they fail, those who are living at the border will start saying that, oh, serikali imetuacha. So I really like to know what you think at the comment section. Because from the look of things are not the same at the border anymore. Remember the order that William Ruto gave, that there will be no vetting. Watu waingie Kenya, hakuna kuangaliwa maidi, wewe ingia Kenya na ufanye mambo yako. And that one gave room for even wale wezi, gave room for even the killers, the terrorists to come to the country. Because they have the freedom to do that from the President of the Republic of Kenya himself. Let me know what you think in the comment section, fellow Kenyans.